Right, so very good evening and welcome to the review session of UCEED AIM 2021 for UCEED and CEED. So to just take a quick poll of students that are here at this point of time, how many of you are there from the CEED? If you can just raise your hands using the raise hand option so that I can have a look at it. Any CEED students? All right, so most of you are, all right, so Divya is there. Anybody else? Okay, fine. So we will review. In fact, I would encourage the UCEED students also to take up the CEED exam, the sketching part, and of course you can take the theory as well. So it will be like a good practice for you. All right, so UCEED has the undergraduate common entrance examination for design has only one question for the sketching part, and it is quite important, right? So the question appears that it is a very simple one, but a lot of students miss out on the details of what they are asking, because the UCEED exam setters are very specific. The questions are very specific, and there is a reason why each of the elements are given. All right. And obviously you would have noticed that most of the students, what I have seen is only one or two students have done decently well, and that too not complete as in terms of what they have been asking. So most of the students have kind of superficially touched upon the question, but they did not successfully address all that is being asked. So let me go to the student works. So generally what we do is we kind of share a document to leave out your email IDs and queries, right? Because it will be a flood of messages and I kind of miss out most of the messages. So what I will do is I will share the link where you can post your question. So if you want me to review your work, so I can probably leave your email ID so that I can leave the work. Okay, leave the work. So let me find. Okay, share with me. Recent. Okay, so I will better create a new form. All right, so let me share this. All right, I shared a form in the chat window. So please fill that form so that I can access the thing. All right. Okay, Usha. So let me share my screen. Hope you're able to see my screen, right? Okay, so section 2. All right, so let us try to understand the question. Okay, so imagine you're an Iron Man toy of 15 centimeters in height in a living room of a teenager. You are under a table that has bubblegum stuck on the bottom edge. On to your right, there is a bookshelf stuffed with magazines and books. On to the left, there are two sofas. On one of the sofas, a dog sleeping awkwardly, and in front, you can see a bay window. It is night 10 p.m. You can see bright street lights through the bay window. The height of the wall is 19 times that of you. The ceiling has a unique hanging roof light having 4 bulbs, out of which one is not working and the others are dim. From the above description, draw the scene from your height and you are looking up towards the ceiling. All right. So, the first thing that is very important for the UCEED is understanding the time, right? So is it morning time or evening time? Okay, now why the time is important? The time is very important because depending on the time, the light, shade, shadow would affect the scene that you are creating, right? And it is very, very important. Okay, so here the situation is night time. All right, so and they also said that through the bay window there are bright street lights. There is a reason why they are saying through the bay window you can see the bright street lights. Now, I have gone through all of your sketches. None of you have actually got the point except for one or two. Okay. Now, understand that this is a nighttime scene, and is the room bright or dull? So you can answer in your chat window. As per the question, is the room bright or dull?
The room should be dull.
The room should be dull. Okay. So what is bright?
Street lights.
Street lights are bright. So if you are able to see the street light, that means that a line of vision is clear. Okay. So would you expect the street light to fall inside the room?
Yes.
Yes, it will. Okay. And since it is a bright light and the room is dull in nature, so you can see the light and shadow of the window falling on the floor. Agreed?
Right.
Right. Now, secondly, since it is a nighttime scene, okay, and they have mentioned 3 lights, out of which 1 is not working and 4 and the other 3 are dull. Okay, so generally the lighting of the room is dull, and if there are 4 sources of lights, what kind of an effect would that create in terms of shades and shadows inside the room?
Okay.
Right.
Hmm.
So that is the critical thing. Okay, so you have 3 points of sources of light and a 4th one which is bright falling inside. I mean, the light will fall inside. So that's the thing. So that is one of the crucial things most of you have missed. And in fact, last year as well. Last year, the question was that it was bright sunlight in the morning, right? There is a freshly watered plant pot in the bay window. Now, why are they giving these specific things? especially when they're talking about light, that means that you got to be sensitive to the shade, shadow, and light effect in the room. Okay. So, Hrusha, so based on that, where do you think you would have to be? Where do you think you missed out terribly?
I think the fact that I did not draw the hanging lamp, I misread that.
Hmm.
Instead of the hanging lamp, I did four different sources of light,
These are
and
the yeah.
and I missed out on the bay window also,
Hmm.
um, and also showing the street light coming into the room.
Hmm. And also, what about the light and shade effect inside the dim room? So,
Yes.
what happens? Would you be able to see the wall cleanly and the furniture cleanly,
No, no,
right?
no.
So you would have stark areas where it is quite dark, and then there is lit up, all right?
Yes. Sir, does this mean that in this half an hour we'll have to also do a lot of shading on the painting, on the sketch?
Not the
Is
painting,
shading
shading,
very
shade,
important?
shadow, shades and shadows. You would
Okay.
be doing shades and shadows, and you know the technique, right? How do you do shades and shadows quickly?
Yes, yes.
Stubbing, or you can use cotton.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So instead of detailing, darkening the sofas and all that, because sofas and all that will not be very neatly
Clean
seen,
only. Yes.
right? So you have to prioritize in terms of what needs to be shown and what is not required to be shown, etc.
Right. Okay.
Understood?
Yes.
Yeah, this is a very important thing. Okay, so most of the students, they think they did very well, but then they get very low marks because they have missed the point of the question.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
let me go to the next student. Ananya Datta. And also the sketch should look lively. I will show you differences between lively and like a not so inspiring sketch. Okay, so let me get these sketches up. Oops. All right. Okay. So so this is a very interesting sketch, but it has stuff that is not required. Like you did not have drawn this person, because drawing that person is not going to fetch you any more marks because it is not part of the question. Rather, if you had basically spent the time in showcasing the shade shadows, that would be quite useful for you to gain marks. Okay. So what I like in this particular sketch is that it is quite lively and creative. And it's not easy to basically capture all the stuff that are asked in the question, but this student has been successful in terms of creating a roof and creating an environment such a way that she is able to capture the entire thing. Now, it also asks looking up towards the ceiling. So it is like looking up towards the ceiling. So some of the students have drawn at the same eye level, okay, but it does not show that it does not show the third dimension, because you're down and if you're looking up, then there is certain amount of 3D perspective that you should be drawing. Okay. So I consider this as a very strong base sketch, which is quite lively, which has dynamic perspective. Now you look at this, the earphone, okay, which is showcasing a pretty strong dynamic perspective and showing the depth in what she was doing, and also see how the bubble gum has been like dripping down. And this sketch has got a lot of potential, all right, but as we have discussed, the major part of the light, shade, shadow is completely missing. Perspective is good, but then uh, what is expected is not being shown. Ananya, would you agree?
Yes, sir, makes sense.
Okay. So what I would want you to do is, if you want, take another half an hour and then you sketch it out. Sketch it out with the main focus on the light, shade, shadow. All right, and also showing stuff in the foreground, background. So Ananya has nailed it nicely in terms of the base sketch, but in terms of finishing it to the expectation, that is where she has missed out. Okay, and I think another student also has got done pretty cool, but they missed it out. Mm. All right. So what I'm noticing is students are getting some things right and some things incorrect. Okay. For example, if you look at Ria's sketch, okay. So this is also quite interesting. She did, she has been sensitive in terms of showcasing the shadows and etc. But then she failed to show the ceiling, the lights that are kind of hanging down, right? And the view is like a straight view. It's not like looking up the ceiling. So she got certain things correct, and then she got certain things wrong, right? Okay, so let me take the next student's work. Sorry, there's a small delay in terms of trying to retry the information. All right, got it. Let me share the screen. Okay. All right, so I would request you to refrain from using colors. Okay, there is no point in showcasing the colors. Rather, invest the time in showcasing what they want. Okay, so this is a quite interesting fisheye view, but this fisheye view you only see when there is a kind of a peephole, and then there is a kind of a lens. So let us assume that, okay, you have, since you are an Iron Man and etc., maybe you have a glass lens and then you are trying to see into that. That is okay. Okay. But then there are certain information which is like not required. For example, your emphasis should have been on the bookshelf, not on this door, because this door is something which is not required, right? And then the crucial stuff. Okay, so the light, shade, shadow, and etc.
Yes, sir. So I had a question. So if I refrain from using the colors, and if I move the door again, and I pay emphasis on the light, can I still go ahead with the fisheye view in the exam?
I think you can go ahead with the fisheye view. That's not a problem. All right, but the space should look lively, as it is like a usable space, like what I have shown in Ananya's case, right? That looks like a room, like an actual room that has character. That a teenager is using that room. You get the feeling that the teenager is using that room. Would you agree?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, see, you have to take every term that is given, especially in the UCEED question paper, okay, religiously. So there is a reason why they said it's a teenager room.
Yes, sir.
Now, this room looks like very formal kind of a living room, right? So the character is missing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and don't hide the stuff. If they are saying that, okay, there's a bookshelf, draw a bookshelf, give what they want, and a bit more. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But the giving more should not be like kind of concealing what they have asked for. Right?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah. So you got to take this particular thing seriously, right? And you got to do more practice in terms of course, tomorrow there is another AIM test. So please take that and do a good job. And for the DQ students, we are loading few UCEED questions. Okay, so about 20 UCEED sketching questions. So we can do it as a practice. So by the way, did anybody get a confirmation on the UCEED exam happening on the 23rd?
So the admit card was released.
The admit card was released, so I don't know what will happen. Okay, but anyway, I'm thinking you might get more time. Okay. Anyway, so you can probably do 2 sketching questions per day or something like that, and then you can do a daily review of those for the DQ students. Okay. So let me take next one.
Sir, do you expect any changes in for the examination day, keeping the current situation in mind?
See, I mean, looking at what has happened in the past. Okay, so I think it was in 2018 or 2018, I guess. Okay, it was an all India test, but Chennai had severe floods. Okay, so nobody could actually attend the exam there. So what they have done is they have reorganized a test only for the Tamil Nadu students in the Tamil Nadu centers. That was a different question paper at a different timing and etc. So what I'm guessing is, see, certain states have these weekend curfews and etc. They will not allow people to move around, right? So naturally, most of the students will miss out, right? So they may probably evaluate the situation in all the cities, especially where the exam centers have been allocated. If there is a weekend curfew and etc., then they may postpone the exam, is what I'm expecting. But it would happen in a center. It may not happen at home.
Yes, sir.
Right? It might happen at the center, but they may push. NID was quite lucky because last time NID happened quite late because of the pandemic. Okay, but the UCEED happened on time. So we have to wait and watch and be ready for changes and all of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so whoever wants their work to be reviewed, kindly share your email ID. If your email ID is not there, I will not be able to find your sketches. Okay. You see mock test one.
Sir, we have to share an email ID on the live chat or
No, in
on the
the
group.
form. In the form I've shared with you, no? Please enter it there.
Oh, okay.
All right, okay. So a lot of things happening in this room. A lot of garbage is happening. Okay, so there was an attempt for showing that the light is falling. It's like coming, falling inside. But then this is not the way it will be. The room will be in the sense in terms of light and the shadow, right? If this dark light is coming, then there will be patches of light, and everything else will be approximately dim. Okay, and the lights hanging from the ceiling, so that detail is shown wrong. There's a light hangings from the wall. All right, so that's the thing. So this, by the look of it, this room looks more like a dilapidated room in terms of, okay, everything is broken down and etc. Not very inspiring. All right, so I mean, when you are doing the sketch, you have the options of showing the room in multiple ways, right? So you can choose a room that would be quite positive to see, right, rather than trying to break things and etc. Okay. It also kind of reflects the way your room probably would be, isn't it? Because the first thought is like a reflection of what we are trying to show is like what we are associating ourselves with, right? So yeah, so that's the feedback for this sketch. As I said, most of you guys have terribly missed the essence of the sketch because they are talking about light, shade, shadow. All right, so this is done by I don't know,
Yes, sir.
got it right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let me go to the next one. So we have a hard stop at 7. All right, so I'll make a hard stop at 7. Okay. So going to the next sketch. Oops. I'm not able to find. Okay. It is Rini. If any PG students are there, please do share your email so that I can review some PG books as well. So Rini, I think this is one of the other sketches I was talking about, which is pretty cool. So very good job, Rini. Okay. However, certain things are a little incorrect. Okay. For example, now you have drawn this this side table. Okay. It in fact should be going up. These legs should be tapering upwards, not downwards. So you are drawing in a 3-point perspective, like you are looking up. All right. So do you see this particular thing? This line is going up, right? Okay. So even this line is going up, right? So all these lines should be going up. Okay. So that is one of the areas where terribly the perspective has gone wrong. But otherwise, the sketch has a lot of potential. Okay, and you did attempt to show a little bit of this shading and etc. But you have to make it more visible, more darker. All right. But the way that you have drawn these details, the dog, etc., basically shows that you have that sketching ability. You have got mastered that. And I also like the way that you have got the curtain over here and the drape, how it is going, and interesting stuff. It's a bay window, so it's a bay door, right? But the light shade shadow is where, if you can focus on, you would do really well. Okay. So this was another potential sketch. I'm sorry.
I was just saying thank you, sir.
All right, cool. Yeah, so this is one of the good sketches. So see, what happens is, yeah, there are some 10,000 people who are taking the test, but then there are few students who are sensitive to what is being asked, and they would hit the nail exactly like what they are expected to do. And those are the guys who will be on the top 15, 30 ranks. So it's an equal opportunity for everybody. In fact, you have an upper advantage that you are getting guidance in terms of what is expected, what you should be. See, if it is an NID exam, then it will not be this detailed, okay? But UCEED is very detailed. So since that you now know you attempted one mock test, and then you know where you are making mistake, the next mock test, give due attention and try to get that. And you all please practice shade shadows in terms of making them look stark and stark. Stark is here, stark. I mean to say quite visible, right? Your whatever shade shadows that you're doing, and also try to understand the mood of the sketch, which day, part of the day, and what details they're asking. Okay. And you can also make the sketches a bit more dramatic. Okay, for example, last year they have given that sun rays falling on a freshly potted plant. Okay, now you can actually go very dramatic and can show some kind of a droplet, okay, falling off the leaf, and that droplet is like kind of reflecting the sunshine bright into the eye, right? So you can go dramatic, and that would be quite interesting, and they would love to see that, because the question is like that. All right. Okay. Mansi, you have to share your email ID. Sharmila, your email ID is not seen. Oh yeah, okay.
Sir, it's actually Rennie and Sharmila is the same person.
Yeah, sure. Okay, cool.
Sir, even I shared the Google form.
Yeah, you have to enter that information in the Google form. So Medha Sanjay, next. Okay, good. Seed aim test one. So, okay, you're a seed student or a?
No, so I'm UCEED. I just did the seed test.
Okay, fine. We will quickly review yours as well. There are some interesting questions in the UCEED paper as well, the sketching questions, which are quite relevant for the UCEED people as well. All right, so let me share my screen. Okay. So, in fact, there are certain things where you can be more in terms of detail, and please avoid drawing details which are not required. They are not asked a person. Don't do that. This seems to be quite a compact room. Now, if you look at these legs of the table, they look very heavy. They look like pillars. Okay. Why I'm saying that is because you compare that with the sofa, what you have drawn here. Look at the sofa leg. And compare that with this. This is like a very solid wood. Okay. Naturally, that kind of table will not be there. So, which means that you got the perspective a little wrong.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So, overall presentation is something that you can improve on. It looks like a very, very rough sketch. Okay. So, and the consistency of the sketch quality is not clean and clear. So, I can see that I think you have used a stump to smudge the stuff here and etc. So probably you have to work on the presentation and then the attention to detail. Like, for example, you put in a lot of effort in drawing this. I really do not understand what is.
Sir, I wanted to show the Iron Man because they mentioned that there were
Yes.
the room height is 19 Iron Men. So I wanted to show that somehow.
No, not required. Not
Okay, so
required.
yeah.
Absolutely not required. In fact, you could have spent a lot of time on the bay window.
Okay, so yeah.
So what is a bay window? Do you guys understand what is a bay window? All right, so that is a bay window. Okay, so kind of has till sill, it is all closed. So from sill to the roof or to the lintel, so you have nice open clean space. All right, so what I also suggest is just get used to these terms. Okay, so basically terms related with interior spaces or exterior spaces and etc., so that it becomes easy for you to kind of draw what they're asking. Okay, so it's a window that is projected out, and generally the shape will be like 3 facets. Okay, right. So that's the feedback on the sketch. So, okay. So, Pragadishwaran. Pragadishwaran. So, Pragadishwaran, your name basically reminds me of a chess champion, Pragadanandan. If you know
sir.
or not. Okay, he's quite a smart boy from Chennai.
Okay, sir. Yeah, even I'm from Chennai, sir.
All right. Okay. So, okay, he's asking, sir, I just attempted the paper randomly without much knowledge into sketching. On which part do you think should I focus in the upcoming days? So, see, for the UCEED question, they kind of position the question in such a way that they can actually see like doodh ka doodh and pani ka pani. You cannot fake it. Right?
Yeah, okay, sir.
So, which means that you have to be really good in your perspective drawing, in your human figure drawing, object drawing, shade shadow textures.
Okay, sir.
And kind of creating theme. We cannot fake it.
Yeah, okay, sir. Yeah.
Because the questions are framed in that way.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so the last sketch I would be reviewing, I hope this better be seed paper. These are Hamsika. UC paper. Right, okay, so let me share my screen. Okay. So it is interesting, okay, but definitely not impressive. Impressive in terms of your presentation, Hamsika. Okay, you did try to attempt to show the shade, shadows, and etc., but they are not quite evident. So, as with everyone, you have to put in some amount of effort in creating team sketches with focus on shade, shadows, and making them relevant to the question, understanding the time of the day, and from where what light is coming and where what light is there. Right? Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah. Who is that?
Sir, this is Jayashri.
Yes, Jayashri.
Sir, could you check mine also once?
Did you share your email ID?
Yes, sir, I did.
Oh, I did not get Jayashri. Okay, you just written your name, but no email ID. Mansi as well.
Sir, should I put it on the chat box?
Okay, so I need a record. If you can just fill in, that is better.
Okay,
So
I'll do it.
Mansi as well, she has not given me her email ID, so we cannot review that.
Sir, should I share here only, because I guess I filled the Google form, but it was not visible to you.
How come? Why is it not visible for me?
I don't know. I'll fill the form again. Then
No. Oh, please fill the form, because I can actually see. I can show my screen.
Sir, I filled it.
Yeah, see, these are all the entries that I can see. Right, so Jayashri's, I just got it now. Okay. Okay, it's not loading. Okay, so Jayashri.
Yes, sir.
Pretty basic sketch. Very basic sketch.
Okay.
Okay, so, and of course the shade shadows are definitely not there.
Yeah.
The dog is not clearly seen. Right?
Yes,
so
sir.
I would suggest in your case, I would want you to do some observation drawings, see and draw. See your living room and draw, bedroom and draw. See the vehicles and draw. So you got to practice on that.
Yes.
And you have to be a bit more creative, like the two sketches that I have shown like in examples, right?
Yeah.
So see, compare the liveliness in those sketches, right?
Yes, sir.
So that is where it is missing out.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Divya Kumar. Okay, so Divya, please share your email ID. So at least one PG student work, let me just review, because it has some interesting questions which are maybe relevant for
so I actually my name is here, but my email ID is not visible to you. I don't know why.
Did you enter your email ID in the form?
In my question, I have not wrote my email ID. Should I wrote my email ID?
Yeah, you have to write your email ID in the question. In your question.
Okay, actually, I was
Then I
not.
can see.
Okay, give me a minute. I'm sharing that.
Yeah. So Divya, all right. Okay.
So you might have received my email ID. I've just submitted my form.
No, I got it. This is, you are able to see my screen? But how come I'm not able to see your attempt of
It's
you
for
seeding?
seed. Seed. It's
Oh,
for
but
seed.
seed, where is seed? Seed also can't see. I don't see the entry here.
So actually, I submitted the sketches and all those things, but then it is still showing that I'm attempting the question now.
Oh, so it's not attempted it. Yeah, so that's the reason probably. Yeah, okay, it's not there.
But then I got the results. So.
Oh.
And then again, it went back to the submitting process.
I really don't know what's the thing. Okay. All right, so we have a few more minutes left. So anybody wants to?
Sir, I have shared my email ID. Please check.
Yeah, got it. Oh, you have taken seed, right? Seed aim test one, right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. This one.
Sir, can we have a review of previous year question paper also right now?
Let us see if time permits. We can review that.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a character design kind of a question. So Bosley is a retired police officer living in Satara. He wants to use his retirement for solving the problems of the immigrants. He gets very passionate and aggressive when in discussion with such matters. He loves to spend his evening time with local children and quite often gives out chocolates for the children who answers his quiz questions. Given the character design of Bosley as above, sketch the following. Bosley is in a passionate discussion with the local politician, trying to make his point on why the politician should support his cause, even though the immigrants are not eligible to vote. Bosley enjoying his evening time in a happy, relaxing mood, sharing jokes with children. Make a line drawing using only pencils. Do not use any kind of color. Do not draw the environments. Do not use any drawing instrument or straight edges such as ruler, compass, square, etc. Okay. So, I think this is a politician, isn't it? This guy is a politician. So you don't have to draw politician. You just have to draw the person.
Okay.
Right. And now this guy has been drawn only half. Or maybe you have got the sketch.
Yes, actually, I guess you have to click to see the whole image. Open the image in new tab, maybe.
All right. Okay. Or maybe let us say open new window. Yeah. Even here we can't see.
But I have uploaded the, I guess, whole image. I don't know.
Okay. So that is the problem. So how you will show a person very aggressive? Okay, it is the facial expressions and the body language. And of course, you have a finger pointing out. It's more threatening. Okay, you have to use my advice and etc. But aggressive person, how they would probably aggressive and passionate person is like maybe two hands, right, and a very serious face, two fisted hands, right, and opposite of that is a person who is very jovial, relaxing, and then two hands behind, leaning back, laughing.
Sir, I have shared an image on a Zoom only, so you
Okay.
can check the whole image there.
Okay. So that was not being shown. Okay. Yeah. So basically, again, you don't have to draw these children and all that. The focus should be on the character. Okay. And the way you have drawn the chair and etc. can be improvised. All right. The focus should be on the body language and the facial expression. I think the facial expressions could be better if you draw it in a more close-up view. Like,
Okay.
right? So that's the thing. Okay. Okay, using the visual elements given in the 10 boxes, create recognizable objects that give and give a title to each. Use only black pencil or pen. Draw only within the boundaries of the boxes, and also write one word that describes your illustration. Toy key, pencil. I did not understand what is this.
This is a posture tool which I used to maintain the posture while using pencil, because some of the people actually hold pencil from the tip. That's why.
All right. So never heard of such kind of a tool. Interesting. What is it called? It's called
pencil posture tool.
Is it? Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never heard or come across this before.
Thank you, sir.
Interesting.
Sir, actually, I guess you are not able to see the whole image, so I've shared with you the picture.
Those are grips as well. Interesting. Good. I have learned something new today.
Thank you.
All right. So there's another image. Caterpillar toy, kid craft play, radio, earphone, potato masher.
Here I wanted to ask that the captions should be very direct, or should
Yeah,
I?
it can be direct. Yeah. For this kind of a question, you just explain what it is.
Okay. So they are not expecting us to put a sarcasm or something on the captions, right?
All right. Okay. So these are good. You can work on the illustrations. The illustrations can be more clean, clear. Okay. So clarity and neatness of the sketch can be improvised. Originality is there, but what is happening is now you have taken, like for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, everything related with the kids, right? So that is where the diversity of the ideas can be probably be more.
Okay.
Have a context for each of these with a different age group, so that you automatically will get different ideas, and then your originality will also improve.
Okay, sir. I'll keep this in mind.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So the pictograms shown belong to upcoming Beijing Olympics. They have decided to add 4 Indian games as shown in the image below to the list. Create 2D pictograms for each of the images given below. All icons should belong to the same design language or style as of the Beijing Olympics. Use only black color. So they have given the style of the pictogram. Okay, so there is a particular style that is here. And then they have given 4 Indian games that have been included, and they have to come up with the same style. Now you got to understand the style of these pictograms, how they have done, and etc. And you got to replicate that style. If you actually observe, even the border is very unique. Okay, the proportion is very like it's like a rectangular card, right? So what's happening here is, number one, the design language is not confined with. So what you are expected is to draw this kind of a rectangular border and show the image within that. Okay, so that is like matching. So all icons should belong to the same design language or style as of Beijing Olympics. You understand? So that is where it has gone completely off.
Okay. And sir, by the composition wise?
There is no composition here. So what you require is 4 triangles. And within the triangle, you should be drawing your stuff. So where is the composition here?
Composition, I mean that the icon I have created, like for the example of chopper. So is the proportion and the composition of those 4 figures is okay?
I really don't think so. For example, if you look at the head, all right. See how the heads, they have what kind of a head, how they have been trying to depict the head. Okay, here it is circular because it is in front view. And if you see the side view, the heads are more shaped. Right?
Okay, sir.
But what is happening here is, okay, over here, this is fine, but here it is like it's not going through. I think it can be done a lot better.
Okay.
Okay, so try doing that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So I think there is one sketch by Sushmita. This seems to be quite interesting, but then she did not again get that rectangular shape. Right, so probably you guys are doing this for the first time, so you're not being sensitive to what is being expected, but this is what is being expected. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So shown in the image is an electric scooter. Sketch and render a helmet in front view and 3/4 perspective. So basically they're asking for 2 views that derives the form and style resonating with the shown scooter. So you just have to draw 2 views, renders of helmet, which has the same design language. And it has a beautiful design language here. So let us say, so you did draw 2 views, but then the rendering. So what do you mean by a rendering? Okay, so let's say a pencil rendering of a helmet. Right. So now that is a rendering. Okay, maybe if you say that it will take a bit more time to create it. Okay, so probably this is a rendering. This is a rendering. This is a rendering. Right. So rendering is where when you kind of show the 3D effect of the helmet. Okay, for example, this is a very simple rendering. So very stark reflections on the glass, right? And then certain shadows at the highlighted spaces, right? So please practice this kind of rendering through pencil of various objects. So they might definitely ask one rendering, looking at what they have done in the last 2 exams. Okay, like for example, this is a rendering of a helmet. Okay, so that is regarding the rendering. And then If you look at the scooter, so what design languages are we talking about? So number one is there's a nice, beautiful chamfer all through, right? And then nice LED kind of a strip light, all right? Okay, and then on the body, you have this kind of a demarcation, right? So you could have probably represented them nicely, and the moment you color or render the glass with stark reflections, you get it beautifully. Okay, and also give that kind of a spherical shape to it by shading, right? So that is where many people have not done a good job.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so given image is the front page of the Equilab solving the mathematical test. According to you, what are the 6 most important problems that users might face while using such a page? Illustrate and annotate these problems in the space provided and describe each problem in one sentence. Do not suggest solutions.
Here I missed illustrations.
Yeah. So the illustrations, so quick illustrations and problem identification is what is required.
But
And you have to go deeper. See, none of these UCEED and CEED papers are superficial. You have to go deeper. Now, how do you go deeper? You go deeper when you understand the same stakeholders' problems and issues. So here, who are the stakeholders? So number one is the user, the test taker, and number two is the company. All right. Now you got to think from both the perspectives so that you can come up with good suggestions, no, not suggestions, good problem identification.
Okay,
Right.
and here I wanted to ask one more thing, that how should we actually, when they are saying that annotate these problems and describe these problems, then what should be the way to explain it? Because if we write in a single line, then it will be not much attention. It will not create that much attention. So what should be the way?
It is not about the attention, it is about communication. Okay, so now if you observe, there are certain elements in this page, right? So from a user perspective, all right, so let us say it's saying All India monthly mock test, and then there is only one mock test shown. All right, so like I think some people have also identified saying that okay, there should be like some kind of a sorter. All right, so first, when you are trying to solve this kind of a problem, you need to understand the objective behind each of these elements that are being showcased there, and you have to reason if these functions are doing their job or not.
Okay.
Okay, so now there is a reason why the owner has done this page in this particular way, right? Because he was expecting certain things. So what, from a owner perspective, what he would be thinking, what he might be trying to achieve, right? So that is the analysis that you should be doing.
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, cool. So it is almost 7:05. I need to go to another meeting. So we stop now. Okay, and all the best for tomorrow's.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Yeah.